TradPro is a peaceful rebellion against the modern pressures for progressive women to practice and perform feminism by resisting submission to a partner and prioritizing independence over the sacrifices of motherhood. TradPro also resists the idea of the TradCon model of womanhood that says that nurturing and conservative values have to be faith-based, and that faith and that conservatism is what inspires motherhood and devotion to a partner. TradPro resists this idea by saying that women in a traditional role can vary politically. We can have political differences. We can be progressive. We can be moderate. So we can be TradPro. We don't have to be TradCon. But we can be similar to the trad women from the TradCon model in that we have no less devotion to our partners and children. So the trad is the devotion to the partners and children. The pro is the idea that we can vary politically and we can be progressive. We don't have to be conservative politically. And our traditional nurturing role and our devotion to our partners and children is not necessarily, it can be, but it's not necessarily faith-based, and it's not rooted in conservative political values. So under TradPro, we get to choose to defer to our partner and pour ourselves into our children. And this is regardless of gender. Any individual that finds fulfillment in the domestic role, what's traditionally known as the woman's role, but regardless of your gender identity, if that is the role that you find happiness and fulfillment in, that domesticity, and you want to defer to your partner, you feel that that fits, and you want to pour yourself into the children, and that is the aspect of household life that you want to slot into and live in, and that fills your cup, then that is fine. So that's the difference between TradPro and TradCon, is that you don't have to be a wife. You can be an unmarried woman. You can be a married woman. You can be a single mom. You can be any identity, but we want to celebrate you if you find fulfillment and happiness in fulfillment. Maybe we should make that a word. It's basically fulfillment and happiness blended, right? I'm just going too fast here. So yeah, if you find your happiness and your happy place is in deferring to your partner and just pouring yourself into your children, that should be supported in the progressive community as well, because we need strong families and households on the pro side. We need strong families and households on the left. This isn't just for conservatives. This isn't just for faith-based families. This is just a common sense model for people who want to live their truth in this way. That should be a valid choice that is not only supported but celebrated equally with the modern performances of feminism and gender identities, etc. So that's TradPro. So in TradPro, chosen submission means that you might find fulfillment and happiness and even a sense of security in deferring to your partner and pleasing them and serving your partner. That is not an oppression or an abuse or something you're forced into. You're choosing this lifestyle because that is what actually makes you happy and makes you feel secure and makes you content. So this is kind of different from, of course, the idea of biblical submission, which instructs everybody, like, you don't have a choice. You have to submit. Wives, submit to your husbands, period. Everybody, everywhere. Well, you can submit to your partner, defer to your partner, even if you're not married. You can still fill that role when you're around that person. Of course, if you are not in the same household, that's a little hard. When you're not around that person, then you kind of have to wear both hats until you guys are able to, form that union and share space. But under a shared space, whether temporarily or permanently, that is the role that you fill, then that's traditional. If you believe that you can fulfill that role while still having progressive values and living your truth regardless of your gender identity, and still, wanting to serve and please your partner as a source of fulfillment and security and happiness, that should not be looked down on in the progressive movement. That should be supported because there's a place for everyone. And some of us just have super complex lives and don't just fit neatly into a box. I mean, hello. It's kind of what I'm known for, is not fitting into a box, and everybody doesn't like it. But there are a lot of people in the world that have some type of a situation that crosses a boundary, whether ideologically or in their identity, or maybe, something about how they look doesn't match something about how they feel or whatever. There are a lot of complex, nuanced, thoughtful individuals in the world. And I think that it's time to make space for everyone, give everyone grace and acceptance to be able to agree to disagree, and not, threaten to unfriend everybody if they don't share the exact same meme as you did or whatever. Maybe some people just were busy at work and didn't even check their phone, and you're like, you didn't post this, so you're not my friend. I mean, there is just such a pressure right now to repeat what we hear, to just be little robots basically just churning out everything that is attached to whatever bandwagon. And you might believe in everything on that bandwagon, and you just didn't get around to posting, or just didn't maybe want to post because you have that one friend who's not riding that train, and you don't really want to, you care about their feelings too as a person, and so you don't really want to hurt them, so you don't want to just throw that in their face. You want to kind of keep your views a little more private. That should be okay too. We don't need to be out there just judging everybody and pointing the finger every day like, you did this and you didn't do that. It's just so unforgiving and so harsh. I think we can do better. In TradPro, we can do better. We can have empathy. We can understand that maybe we don't understand where that other person's coming from. We can understand that everybody has a reason for what they do. Maybe that reason is comprehensible to us, and maybe it makes no sense whatsoever. But we have to respect their reasons if we want people to respect our reasons. We have to be consistent and not hypocritical. So yeah, give people grace, and just, take a breath, think things through, try to act out of logic and not emotion when it comes to socio-political posts, if you can. It's tempting to just vent and get all worked up, and you're operating out of a sense of emotion. Then sometimes that place of emotion makes us do things that we regret later, and that we then have to walk back. So, maybe just take a minute before you repost or share something, because you don't want to hurt people. Hopefully you don't want to hurt people in your space. We want to have a harmonious family and zone and community and whatever that we're living in. So yeah, let's keep it calm, not just carry on, but keep it calm and think things through. That's what I would say. So anyway, next time I'll be back on TradPro next week. I'm going to try to make a weekly episode. So stay tuned.